Good afternoon, fellow everyday mystics. Thank you for joining me for noonday meditation and contemplative prayer power hour, where we gather every day at noontime to love and support each other through this pandemic. Because without each other, I don't know if we could get through. I couldn't get through it. So I'm so thankful for you joining us. My name is Martin Cowart, and I decided to start doing these live broadcasts at very early beginnings of the pandemic because it was something I needed and some of my friends needed it as well. And I'm so happy I did. It's become the focal point of my day. It's the place that grounds me and helps me through it. And I hope that it will help you as well. So if you're joining me, my ask is that you just type into the chat that you're here so I know who's here. Otherwise, I just see a number on the board and I don't know who's here. So if you're here, thank you so much for joining me. Please just type into the chat. I'm very excited about the idea of the wise woman because I have a wise woman within me. Her name is Joy. And she's been guiding me through my life, really. Hello, Darceau, nice to see you. Vincent, nice to see you too. So glad you're here. Any comments that you want to make to what we're saying as we go through it? I'm always happy to have you comment and join into the conversation. So please do that. Vincent, nice to see you too. So thank you for being here. Now, the wise woman. Wow. I like that name. I like that name for the divine presence, the wise woman. I have a wise woman within me, and her name is Joy. We all have a wise woman. Some of us have gotten to know her, and some of us have not yet gotten to know her. But I will suggest to you that through contemplation and other means, get to know her. She's present, and you can hear her voice throughout the world right now because she is feeling our pain through us. The divine that's how the relationship with the divine works. That's how the relationship with God works, or the wise woman. It is a relative. Love is relational, so it is through this relationship with the divine within us that we experience all life. So that's what we bring. If we're feeling some pain, then we feel it in each other through the conduit of the wise woman, or the being part of human being. Eckhart Tolle says, many humans, one being, one infinite intelligence, one formless, timeless source of love, creative energy. And that creative energy is relational to you and I, and to each other, and to the world that we are creating. And I am certain that I know, because I hear it. I hear it and I feel it. That's how you know when it's the voice of the wise woman. How do you feel? Is it quiet, strong, gentle, encouraging, loving, healing, nurturing? It might even be that, and it might be the force behind a certain amount of rage and anger. It doesn't always have to be unicorns and roses. Matter of fact, it's not. It's fierce love. It's fierce loving coming from the heart. And you know it when you hear it, because you can feel it. And I can't help but notice, and I don't want to get into any kind of political conversation here, but I just want to note what I've observed in the last few days, or the last couple of weeks. I've watched both the DNC, the Democratic National Convention, and I've watched the RNC, Republican National Convention. And I just pay attention to how they make me feel. Listening to the DNC, I feel inspired. I feel a sense of love and compassion and empathy. I feel good. I feel love, if that makes sense. I feel nurtured. I feel cared for. In that voice, I hear truth. I hear wisdom. I hear empathy. I hear compassion. I'm not hearing any of that this week with the RNC. I'm hearing and feeling sort of yucky is the only word I can think of. I just feel hopeless. It's all about being a victim of something. It has a very victim feeling to it. It's like they're all victims. That's just what it feels like. It feels like I feel like when I'm a victim of things and I want to blame other people. And it's a cruelty to it. And I just don't feel good. So I don't think that they're channeling the voice of the wise woman from my perspective. Now you may have a different one, but I know I don't feel it. But I'm very hopeful because I do feel it in the leadership at the DNC. And I'm sure the Republican leaders have the same. This is not a political thing. I'm talking about two stages and what I'm hearing from the two stages. I am not suggesting in any form that Republicans don't have those qualities. I think they very much do. Every human being has those qualities. Every human being has the wise woman within them. I'm not sure. Not every human being has gotten intimate with that wise woman. They're often afraid of her because they're afraid of the truth, and that's real. Man, that can be dangerous, and it is dangerous, and it creates a lot of pain and suffering. But when you hear the voice of the wise woman, when you can feel the pain of the world, and you can feel the suffering, and you can feel the healing, we know we're on the right track. We know we're in the right place. Hey, Michael, gosh, it's been a really long time since you joined us. So glad you could join me today. We're talking about the wise woman, which is the name I'm calling the divine feminine within us, who I believe is strong. I mean, just look at the presence of so many powerful women leaders right now. There's a lot of fierce love coming out through their voice, through their beingness, if you will. I clearly hear the voice of the wise woman in so many of these political leaders, and I think, I'm sure as we all begin to collaborate to creating a new earth, that's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing a new earth, an earth, not some utopian dream of unicorns and nonsense. I'm talking about a real earth, a real new earth, grounded in love and respect. Thank you. If you have any comments about it, I'd love to hear it. That's what I'm talking about. We want to create a new earth grounded in love and respect for each other and human value. An economy that's built out of people power, contribution instead of consumption, and corporations and corporate leaders, and there's lots of them. And if you'll I'm beginning to hear the voice of the wise woman in people like Tony Robbins and Ray Dalio, other major financial influencers in the world today, not just spiritual teachers like Eckhart Tolle that I love, but also a lot of many corporate leaders and financial influencers who are on this same space, who've heard the voice, who feel the voice of the wise woman and are in alignment with her. And And that's how we collaborate, and that's how we create a new earth. It's not going to look a whole, we're going to still have good corporations, Microsoft, Apple. I mean, these are all corporations created by people. And I darn sure hope we have the United States Postal Service. I mean, that's like a sacred cow, which I went to yesterday, and it was just sort of interesting, the fact that someone even would conceive of trying to, in some way, destroy the United States Postal Service so that people couldn't vote. I mean, that doesn't feel like the voice of the wise woman to me. It just doesn't. It doesn't feel like the voice. It sounds like the voice of cruelty and meanness. And I'm just, that's what it feels like. I'm just being honest. But there are voices. There are more voices. There are millions of voices of the wise woman in a movement, collaborating right now as we speak to create a new earth grounded in love and respect and prosperity. And we all have a responsibility and a duty to participate. And it's fun. This is a much more exciting and a fun world to live in. We're doing it. It's not tomorrow. It is now. The presence of the wise woman is with us right now. She is working through us to create this new earth. And we're doing it, and it's exciting and it's fun. And this is how we do it. This is one of the ways we do it. We come together at noon, we get quiet, we get still, and listen for her voice. We get quiet, we get still, and we listen to her voice. Now, I've said this before. I appreciate you coming on and listening to my voice. And I hope it's me sharing the voice of the wise woman within me. But I want you to hear the wise woman for yourself. I want you to hear your wise woman. Because because what I will say to you is, you develop, you're unique, you're rare, you're your own, you're a special gift. And that relationship with your wise woman within you is unique and special. And that's where you're going to get your sense of purpose and meaning in the world. And you'll discover your role, exactly your primary purpose in this new earth if you just get still and get quiet and listen to her. I might be preparing your brain to open up to listening to the truth of her. And that's the intention of any spiritual reading or spiritual truth or any spiritual discussion prior to a meditation. It's to begin to get the brain, the pathways in our brain to begin opening up to accepting something the human mind cannot understand. Remember, the spiritual realm is way beyond, it transcends the limitations of the human mind. So listening to me speak gives you a hope. That's why I do it. And listening to what I read about is going to open up for you the opportunity for the wise woman to speak to you. The wise woman is just not, it's the universe the universe doesn't react. She does not react. The wise woman is not the divine is, God does not react. God does not change. God, the divine, is what is. It's empty, formless, creative love energy. And it's our responsibility to either to listen to it. And there are human beings, and there will always be human beings who haven't heard her, who haven't tapped into the divine presence within it. We all have it. Every single person on both the DNC stage and on the RNC stage has a wise woman. The difference is some have chosen to listen to her, to get to know her, and speak her voice, because they have connected to others through her characteristics of love, compassion, empathy. So yes, and what will happen is that you, the human being, the human of the being, can hear the wise woman or not. So then you can just say, well, who do I want to follow? In all aspects, both in your personal life, the political life, I want to follow people where I can hear the wise woman in their voice, in their actions, in their doing. I want to know people who also connected to the wise woman. Does that answer your question? The wise woman doesn't react. The wise woman is that formless part of ourselves, that creative energy that's created the world, and she's completely unfazed by it. She's not fazed by anything, and that's why I have hope, because as I'm seeing more and more people all over the world who've plugged into her message, plugged into her energy. It's just, yeah, a voice of empathy and a voice of compassion and a voice of truth. You know it, you feel it. It feels different. It feels like love. One feels like love, one feels like fear. One's running on love, one's running on fear. People run on love. We all individually run on love or fear. There are times when we individually, when I'm Martin Coward and you, Michael, will run on fear. We've all done it. It's miserable. And then we get quiet and we get still and we hear the voice of the wise woman within us saying, oh, you don't need to be afraid. There's nothing to be afraid of. You're loved, you're worthy, this is a wonderful life. And all of a sudden we have this transformational shift within ourselves and we begin to impart the voice of empathy and compassion. We can feel our way into a higher level of consciousness. Yes, you got me. Exactly. It's exciting. We all have a wise woman living inside of us. Some people call her God, some people call her Jesus Christ, some people call her the Buddha, some people call her intuition, some people call it the universe. No matter what you call it, it's that formless life, it's that formless, limitless, timeless energy that creates all things, and it's the essence of what we are. But it's our responsibility to listen for her, to get still and get quiet and listen for her voice. And I think because of the enormous amount of pain so many of us are going through, we have been we don't have a choice. We have to get stopped and get still and listen. And that's a lot of the reason why I do this every day, because I want a platform for people to hear what I'm hearing in my translation as someone who's been sitting and meditating for over 40 years and studying spiritual law and spiritual scriptures and this kind of thing. So I hope that what I'm sharing is the wisdom I'm sharing is helpful to you, so that you too can begin to hear the wise woman within yourself. It's just a lot more exciting and a fun way to live. I can promise you. A new earth is going to be it is going to be it's already much more exciting. Just living in that, in faith. Faith is being able to feel the light in the darkness before the dawn, and that's what I'm feeling. Particularly after what I'm hearing, the contrast I'm hearing between those two platforms, the DNC and the RNC, because I human beings, we're all human, Republican, Democrat, Independent, doesn't matter what you are. We've all got a big heart. We've all got the wise woman within it, and so I think she can break through the chaos for a lot of people, and I think that's what a lot of people who are afraid of. That's quite frankly. Because she's fierce and she's not afraid of anybody. And if she's not afraid of anybody, we're not afraid of anybody, right? I want to read a little bit about what Tolle, I'm reading a little bit from Richard Rohr today. Just bear with me here. I'm reading from Richard Rohr's daily meditation. Richard Rohr is he's a Franciscan brother, and he is a Roman Catholic priest, and he runs the Center for Contemplation and Action in Albuquerque, Mexico, and he puts out a wonderful meditation. And I had just found them, between him and Eckhart Tolle, I've gotten a lot of guidance and support and love in this time. And I like sharing it with you. God's Dream for Creation is the title of this piece. In times of disorder and deconstruction, we long for reorder on a personal level, to be made new and whole again. But the scriptures tell us that restoration will also happen on command. Try that again. But the scriptures tell us that restoration will also happen on a communal, planetary, and even universal level. Jim Antal, a climate justice leader with the United Church of Christ, reminds us of our ability and our responsibility to participate with God in the renewal and reordering of the earth. How can you know all these facts about climate change and still have hope? For me, faith and hope are rooted in the conviction that, regardless of how bad things may be, a new story is waiting to take hold. Something we have not yet seen or felt or experienced. God is calling us as individuals and congregations to work with God and others to champion that new story. For the vast majority in our society, that new story remains unseen. Wresting our future from the grip of fossil fuel seems impossible. Our addiction is too strong, affordable options are too few, and the powers that defend the status quo are mighty indeed. We cannot be freed by chipping away at this milestone. We must begin to live into a new story by changing the human prospect of destruction and restoring creation's viability. That's what the water protectors of Standing Rock have done. Their courageous, unflinching discipline inspired thousands to join them and millions to imagine with them the new world that is waiting to be born. They prepared themselves through prayer and ritual to face down sheriffs, paramilitary contractors, attack dogs, rubber bullets, pepper spray, and high-pressure water cannons in sub-zero temperatures. They were fueled by hope for a revolution rooted in love for God's great gift of creation. This is a beautiful piece. We can't accept God's invitation to help create a new story unless we're willing to take action. We become partners with God when we act in unfamiliar, untested ways. And these new actions will be guided by a preferred future that embraces resilience in place of growth, collaboration in place of consumption, wisdom in place of progress, balance in place of addiction, moderation in place of excess, vision in place of convenience, accountability in place of disregard, self-giving love in place of self-centered fear. I love that one. Self-giving love in place of self-centered fear. As brokenhearted as God must be over what we have done to her gift of creation, God still has a dream. God dreams that humans seek spiritual rather than material progress. God's dream envisions a just world at peace because gratitude has dissolved anxiety and generosity has eclipsed greed. God dreams of a time when love and mutual respect will bind humanity together and the profound beauty of creation will be treasured. Let us embrace God's dream as our own. Suddenly, the horizon of our hope comes nearer. As we live into God's dream, we will rediscover who we truly are, and all of creation will be singing. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful piece. Sounds like a book of, doesn't it though? Doesn't it though? You know, I've tried to read the book of Revelation. It's hard. It's so much metaphor. It's really, really difficult, I think, for me. I like I like it when people like this put it in very usable terms, like Meister Eckhart and this guy, you know. But yeah, they're saying the same thing. Yeah, it's very, very, very much saying the same thing, and I love that reference. That's great. Yeah, and I think this Revelation is one of those books that's just routinely misunderstood because it is all metaphor. It's nothing but metaphor, and it's people who try to take it literally are kind of insane. So let's meditate. Let's get started. Let's go in and listen for that. Listen for the wise woman, and please stick around for this part. And raise your arms up in the air, and I ask you to do that because I want you to just. I want to ask you what raised your arms. What's holding them up there? Hold them for a second, and realize this is the wise woman. The wise woman is the power that's holding you up. The wise woman is what's hearing my voice, and the wise woman is what's speaking. We become human beings if we open our hearts to it and open our minds to it and we're willing, we can become the vehicle for the voice of the wise. And we do it all the time. People just aren't conscious of it. But you can tell which voice is talking. And ourselves. I know when I'm being mean and ugly to people, selfish and self-centered. I have been. We all have been. I'm coming from my lower consciousness. I'm gonna get off on a talk. Look at me. How can you meditate with me talking so darn much? Oh, okay, maybe the wise woman wanted to talk some more. I don't know. Anyway, here. Let's get this and let's get to meditating. Sorry. So put your hands down, and just put them on your belly right now. Just feel your belly rising and falling as you breathe. Get comfortable. Get relaxed. Center your mind around the breath. We'll do a little mindful breathing, and that's really simple. It's just tuning and intentionally bringing your mind's thoughts to the breath. The in breath and the out breath, the rise and the fall of your rib cage. Allowing ourselves to get present to the wise woman within us. Allow the bell to wake you from a trance. We often go into a trance, a thought trance. We think we're meditating, but we're actually in a thought trance. The purpose of that bell is to wake us up from that so that we can reset and follow the vibration into the deeper parts within ourselves. So that still point within. Hello, welcome back. How was your journey? Oh, you're so welcome. It's thanks for being here. We create space for each other. So thank you for that. Wow, what a beautiful day it is here in northern New Jersey. It's cool, not so humid. And, I think because we're not polluting quite so much, the earth just feels, the world just feels cleaner and fresher and more welcoming. I think the wise woman is appreciating the respect we're showing her right now. So let's, if you have something else you'd like to say, let's say it. Otherwise, I'm going to suggest we tune out. And if you got a chance, there's about another 15 minutes or so, 10, 15 minutes on this hour. My encouragement to sort of anchor this in and anchor this moment in, and maybe what you heard from the wise woman is to go from this space of calm mind, quiet space, to writing a little bit. If you don't have a journal, get one. It's the best way I can think of to be a participant, to actively participate, because something happens when we write something down, from particularly by hand. We learn at a deeper level. There's a transformation that occurs when we handwrite stuff. I almost write every single thing I write by handwriting it to get the idea, get the creative juices flowing, and then I'll go to the computer and sort of type it all out. But I find that and that's really what I've done. I've taken my daily journals and turned them into a daily meditation. And it might eventually become a book one day. Who knows? Anyway, thank you so much for joining me today, and may love and prosperity prevail. Thank you.